I am Reshma, and now we are going to discuss about the various urban development and livelihood programs and schemes by the central and state governments of India. As you know, urbanization is increasing rapidly. In case of India, 30% of the population lives in urban areas. The fast-paced urbanization has some serious challenges on the socio-economic front of the country. For example, there is unemployment, there is excess utilization of existing infrastructure in cities like housing, sanitation, transportation, health, education, utilities, etc. This program mainly has 6 components. The first one is employment through skill training and placement. The second one is self-employment program. The third one is social mobilization and institutional development. The fourth one is support to urban street vendors. The fifth one is shelter for urban homeless. And the sixth one is capacity building and training program. The mission also aims to provide shelters equipped with essential services to the urban homeless in a phased manner. In addition, the mission would also address livelihood concerns of urban street vendors by facilitating access to suitable spaces, institutional credit, and social security. As of now, more than 4 lakh self-help groups have been formed under this scheme, and they have been assisted in setting up individual or group micro-enterprises for self-employment. Now, in case of southernmost state of Kerala, it is the State Poverty Eradication Mission that functions as the National Urban Livelihood Mission. So, moving on to the second one, State Poverty Eradication Mission. The State Poverty Eradication Mission, popularly known as Kudumbashree Mission, launched in 1998, is the implementing agency for urban poverty eradication programs of Government of India. The grassroots of Kudumbashree are neighborhood groups that send representatives to the ward level area development societies or the ADS. The ADS which sends its representatives to the community development society, which completes the unique 3-tier structure of Kudumbashree. Kudumbashree has been recognized as an effective strategy for the empowerment of women in rural as well as urban areas, bringing women together from all spheres of the life who fight for their rights or for empowerment. I hope this is clear to you. So moving on, the third and the last urban livelihood program is Ayyankali Urban Employment Guarantee Scheme. This scheme was launched in 2010 and it aims at enhancing the livelihood security of people in urban areas by guaranteeing 100 days of wage employment in a financial year to an urban household whose adult members volunteers to an unskilled manual work. This also aims to provide a strong, right-based social safety net for the people in urban areas of Kerala by giving a fallback employment source when other employment alternatives are scarce or inadequate. So, these are the various urban development and livelihood programs and schemes by the central and state government of India. Shall we have a quick recap of what we have studied till now? Well, so basically there are 5 programs focusing on urban development and 3 programs focusing on urban livelihood. The urban development programs were NULM, Swachh Bharat Mission, Smart Cities Mission, Amrit and Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban. And the main urban livelihood programs were National Urban Livelihood Mission, State Poverty Eradication Mission and the Ayyankali Urban Employment Guarantee Scheme. Now, even though the state and central government have introduced a number of programs aimed at achieving sustainable cities and inclusive urbanization, there are some challenges like that to the environment, resource and the marginalization of communities which need to be addressed. So, this is all about urban development and livelihood programs by the state and central governments of India. In order to tackle these issues and to upgrade the quality of life of people, especially the urban poor, the central and state governments have been actively introducing new schemes and reinventing the existing schemes which deals with these specific issues. So, shall we have a look into some of these schemes and programs? Alright. There are 5 major programs that focus on urban development. They are Jawaharlal Nehru National Urban Renewal Mission or JNNURM, the Swachh Bharat Mission Urban, Smart Cities Mission, Atal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation, also known as Amrit, and Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban. Now we can have a look into each of these programs in detail. So the first one is Jawaharlal Nehru Urban Renewal Mission, JNNURM. This mission was launched as a massive city modernization program by the Government of India in 2005. The mission has two components. The first one is basic services for urban poor and the second one is integrated housing and slum development program. Both components are aimed at improving the quality of life of people by providing basic facilities and amenities. 63 cities were identified under this mission. The mission was closed in 2014 and it was succeeded by the Amrit. So, this is about Jawaharlal Nehru National Urban Renewal Mission. Now, moving on to the second one, that is the Swachh Bharat Mission Urban. This mission launched in 2014 aims at making urban India free from open defecation and achieving 100% scientific management of municipal solid waste in 4,041 statutory towns in the country. It also equips the urban local bodies to design, execute and operate sanitation systems. The phase 1 of Swachh Bharat mission was completed in 2019 and the phase 2 is being implemented between the years 2020 to 21 and 2024 to 25 to cement the work of phase 1. So, we have discussed about two programs so far. The first one was JNNURM and the second one was Swachh Bharat Mission Urban. Moving on, the third one is Smart Cities Mission. National Smart Cities Mission, launched in 2015, is an urban renewal program by the Government of India with the mission to develop smart cities across the country, making them citizen-friendly and sustainable. The Union Ministry of Urban Development is responsible for implementing the mission in collaboration with the state governments of the respective cities. The mission initially included 100 cities with the deadline for completion of the project set between 2019 and 2023. The effective combined completion of the projects is now at 11%. Moving on, the fourth one is Atal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation, also known as Amrit. Amrit was launched by the Government of India in 2015 with the focus to establish infrastructure that could ensure adequate robust sewage networks and water supply for urban transformation by implementing urban renewal projects. Amrit aims to support 500 cities having a population greater than 1 lakh. The scheme only covers 60% plus of Indian urban areas. And the government is actively considering a follow-up scheme which will cover 100% of the urban areas. Moving on, the fifth one is Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban. Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban is a flagship mission of Government of India launched in 2015. The mission addresses urban housing shortage among economically weaker section, low-income groups and middle-income groups categories including slum dwellers by ensuring a Pakka house to all eligible urban households by the year 2022. Currently, more than 50 lakhs of houses have been constructed under this scheme. So, these are the main urban development programs and schemes by the central and state governments. Now, let us have a look into major programs focusing on improving the livelihood of the people in urban areas. The first one is National Urban Livelihood Mission. The second one is State Poverty Eradication Mission. And the third one is Iyengali Urban Employment Guarantee Scheme. Now, let us discuss each of these programs in detail. So, the first one is National Urban Livelihood Mission. National Urban Livelihood Mission, launched in 2013 under the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, aims to reduce poverty and vulnerability of the urban poor households by enabling them to access gainful self-employment and skilled wage employment opportunities.
A third of India's population lives in urban areas. Increasing urban issues and resource constraints are the major challenges in accomplishing the Sustainable Development Goals. Kerala and Tamil Nadu have been widely acclaimed for leading the march towards attaining SDGs in India. Along with the political, cultural, and social environment of these regions, the vision and policies of the state governments assisted them in this journey. Kerala began investing in social sector development programs in the 1960s. It is the first state to introduce land reforms in India. Kerala's HDI of 0.79 is the highest in India, resulting mainly from the vast improvements the state has made in the fields of sanitation, health, education, and poverty reduction. Even amidst this global pandemic, Kerala is continuously ranked first in Niti Aayog's SDG India Index. Thiruvananthapuram and Kochi have figured in the top 5 spots in the inaugural SDG Urban Index and Dashboard 2021-22 released by the Niti Aayog.
The state government and the Kochi Corporation are trying to create a dashboard. There are certain agencies like the German International Development Agency, like the GIZ, which are helping us to do these things. And I feel that with the help and support of KILA, we are trying to develop such a dashboard. And suppose the dashboard comes into play, I believe that we will move forward on SDG goals. The budgeting of the corporation has also been done in such a manner that whatever new programs we are charting out, it connotes to at least one or the other SDG goals.
In Tamil Nadu, the socio-economic initiatives by the Dravidian movement paved the way for the constructive efforts of different governments in achieving SDGs. The state has a score of 74 on the India Index. When the SDG No Poverty is concerned, Tamil Nadu has taken the lead among the Indian states with a score of 86, while Kerala has a score of 83. Similarly, the Magalar Suyu Udavikulu, the SSG in Tamil Nadu, specifically focuses on marginalized groups and urban slum dwellers. Kerala and Tamil Nadu brought more people under the public distribution system through door-to-door delivery of dry rations during the pandemic. The lockdown did not stop the Kerala government from providing midday meals and Anganwadi nutrition kits to the children. The government-supported low-cost eateries, Janagiya Bhakshanashalas in Kerala, are an example of how social welfare projects and community participation can tackle hunger. Similarly, Chennai has Amma Unavagam, hotels run by SHGs. The Kochi Corporation, with the help of Kudumbashri, started Hotel Samurthi, which attempts to make the city hunger-free. They provide meals at an affordable price of Rs 10, with an average of 3,000 meals being served on a daily basis.
കൊച്ചിയിൽ നിന്ന് ഒരു നഗരം എന്നുള്ള രീതിയിൽ നമ്മൾ എടുക്കുമ്പോഴത്തേന് കൊച്ചിയിൽ നിന്ന് കൂടുതലും ഫ്ലോട്ടിംഗ് പോപ്പുലേഷൻ അടുത്ത ജില്ലകളിൽ നിന്ന് ചെറിയ ലോ ഇൻകം കാറ്റഗറികളാണ്. കാരണം അവർ രാവിലെ ചിലപ്പോൾ സ്ത്രീകളാണെങ്കിൽ പോലും ആലപ്പുഴയിൽ നിന്നോ തൃശ്ശൂരിൽ നിന്നോ ഇവിടുന്നോ ഒക്കെ ചിലപ്പോൾ എറണാകുളത്ത് ജോലിക്ക് വരുന്നവർ കാണും. ഇവരുടെ ഡെയിലി ഇൻകം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ചിലപ്പോൾ 200 to 250 ഒക്കെ മേ ബി ആവും. അവർ ഇപ്പം രാവിലെ ഒരു ജോലിക്ക് വരണമെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ രാവിലെ തന്നെ ആഹാരങ്ങളെല്ലാം പ്രിപ്പയർ ചെയ്ത് പിന്നെ ഇങ്ങോട്ട് വന്ന് ഇത് വെക്കണം. അതേസമയം അവർ വെളിയിൽ നിന്ന് കഴിക്കണമെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ 50-100 വരുമ്പോഴത്തേന് അവരൊരു ഡെയിലി ബ്രെഡ് പിന്നെ അവരുടെ ഒരു വലിയ ഇൻകത്തിന് ഹാഫ് ചിലപ്പോൾ അവർ ചിലവഴിക്കേണ്ടി വരും. അപ്പോൾ അതാണ് അതിനകത്തൊരു ഫോക്കസ് ആയിട്ട് വന്നത്. ഇവിടെ കിച്ചൺ എക്യുപ്മെൻറ്റ്സിനാണ് ഇതാണ് നമ്മൾ കസ്റ്റമൈസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടാണ് നമ്മളിവിടെ കൊണ്ടുവന്നിരിക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ അതെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ കൂടുതൽ സ്ത്രീ സൗഹൃദമാണ്. നോർമലി ഇവർക്ക് വലിയ ഭാരം എടുക്കാനോ ഈ കാര്യങ്ങളല്ലാതെ ഇപ്പം ടിറ്റ് ചെയ്യാവുന്ന രീതിയിൽ ബാക്കി എടുക്കാവുന്ന രീതിയിൽ സ്റ്റീമിലാണ് അരിയൊക്കെ നമുക്ക് കുക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. അതുകൊണ്ട് ഫാസ്റ്റായിട്ട് നമുക്ക് കുക്ക് ചെയ്യാനും 50% നമുക്ക് ഗ്യാസ് അന്നേരം നമുക്ക് ലാഭിക്കാൻ പറ്റും 10 ടൈമിൽ. ഇപ്പം നമുക്കിപ്പം എത്ര പേർക്ക് വേണമെങ്കിലും ഫുഡ് നമുക്ക് ഡെലിവറി ചെയ്യാം. ഇപ്പം കഴിഞ്ഞ പ്രാവശ്യമൊക്കെ ഉണ്ടായ പോലെ വലിയൊരു വെള്ളപ്പൊക്കമോ അങ്ങനെ എന്തെങ്കിലുമൊക്കെ ഒരു അത്യാഹിതമോ കാര്യങ്ങളൊക്കെ ഉണ്ടാക്കുമ്പോഴത്തേന് നമുക്ക് പെട്ടെന്ന് അതിനെ അവിടെ ആഹാരമോ ബാക്കി കാര്യങ്ങൾ നമുക്ക് കവറപ്പ് ചെയ്യാനായിട്ട് എത്തും. ഇപ്പോൾ കേരളത്തിലൊരു നഗരസഭയ്ക്കും ഇപ്പം അങ്ങനെ ഓണായിട്ടൊരു സംവിധാനമില്ല. നമ്മുടെ ഇച്ചിരി ഡൈനിങ് വർദ്ധിപ്പിക്കേണ്ട ഒരു ആവശ്യമുണ്ട്. നമ്മുടെ എസ്റ്റിമേറ്റിനേക്കാളും വിരുദ്ധമായിട്ടുള്ളൊരു ആളുകളുടെ തള്ളിച്ചയും കാര്യങ്ങളാണ് ഉണ്ടായത്. ഇപ്പോൾ സംഭാവന ഡിപ്പെൻഡ് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടല്ല, ഇവരുടെ കൂടുതൽ എംപ്ലോയ്മെൻറ്റും കാര്യങ്ങളും കൂടുതൽ ഉൽപ്പന്നങ്ങളും ഉണ്ടാക്കി ആ ഉൽപ്പന്നങ്ങളുടെ വിറ്റഴിക്കുന്നതിൽ നിന്ന് ലഭിക്കുന്ന അധിക ലാഭം ഇതിൻ്റെ ഈ നഷ്ടം വരുന്നത് നികത്താൻ പറ്റുമോ എന്നുള്ള ഒരു പരീക്ഷണത്തിലാണ്. ഇനി അത് ഡെവലപ്പ് ചെയ്ത് വരുമ്പോൾ കൂടുതൽ വിഭവങ്ങളും ബാക്കി കാര്യങ്ങളും പ്രോഡക്റ്റുകളും ഒക്കെ ഇതൊരു ബ്രാൻഡായിട്ട് ഡെവലപ്പ് ചെയ്യുക എന്നുള്ള രീതിയിൽ തന്നെയാണ് മുന്നോട്ട് കാണുന്നത്. അതോടെ നമ്മളൊരു 28-30 എന്നുള്ളൊരു തൊഴിലവസരം 100-ന് മുകളിലോട്ട് എത്തിക്കുക എന്നുള്ളൊരു എയിം കൂടെ ഉണ്ട്. കാരണം അത്രയും കുടുംബങ്ങളിലോട്ട് ഒരു സ്ഥിര വരുമാനം എത്തിക്കുകയാണ്.
The first gender park in South Asia was opened in Kerala, which has introduced many projects aiming at women's empowerment, like She Taxi, an initiative even adopted by other states. The Gender Park has been advocating women's empowerment and entrepreneurship as the way to achieve SDGs. Even when the overall education level of women is much higher, the development indicators show that women are in worse conditions than men in terms of income, employment status, options to travel, access to legal tenure, and social and political capital.
വീട് കിട്ടിയ സമയത്ത് ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് പൈസയൊക്കെ അടയ്ക്കണമായിരുന്നു. 23,000 രൂപ ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് അടയ്ക്കണമായിരുന്നു. അപ്പം അതൊക്കെ അടയ്ക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി പൈപ്പൊക്കെ എടുക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി പൈസ ഇല്ലാത്തതുകൊണ്ട് ഞങ്ങൾ ലോണൊക്കെ എടുത്ത് പിന്നെ ചെറുതായിട്ടൊന്ന് ടൈലിട്ട് ഒന്ന് കളറൊക്കെ അടിച്ചെടുത്ത്. അപ്പോൾ അതിനൊക്കെ ഒരുപാട് പൈസ എൻ്റെ നിന്നായി. ഇപ്പം 4,000 രൂപ എനിക്ക് ആഴ്ചയിൽ അടയ്ക്കണം. അതിനുള്ള വരുമാനമൊന്നും കിട്ടുന്നില്ല. മുമ്പൊക്കെ ആണെങ്കിൽ നല്ല കച്ചവടം 4,000-5,000 രൂപ കച്ചവടം നടന്നെങ്കിൽ മാത്രമേ എനിക്ക് അതിൽ നിന്ന് 500 രൂപയെങ്കിലും കിട്ടുള്ളൂ. ഇപ്പോൾ വളരെ കൈനഷ്ടത്തിലാണ് പോണത്. സാമ്പത്തിക സഹായമൊന്നുമില്ല. മോള് കഷ്ടപ്പെട്ട് ഉണ്ടാക്കിയ ഉരുപ്പടി, അതിനെ ഞാൻ ബ്രേസ്ലെറ്റൊക്കെ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു, കുറച്ച് ഉരുപ്പടിയൊക്കെ എടുത്ത് പണയം വെച്ച് ഇതുവരെ അത് എടുക്കാനും പറ്റിയിട്ടില്ല, പലിശ അടയ്ക്കാനും പറ്റിയിട്ടില്ല. കാരണം ഞാനിത് തുടങ്ങി ഒരു 3 മാസം കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പോഴാണ് കൊറോണ ഇതിങ്ങനെ ഉണ്ടായത്. വീണ്ടും തുടങ്ങിയിട്ട് 15 ദിവസം ആയുള്ളൂ. അപ്പം വലിയ ഇപ്പം ശമ്പളമൊക്കെ കൊടുത്ത് ഒരാളിനെ സഹായത്തിനൊക്കെ നിർത്തുമ്പം എനിക്ക് അതിനുള്ള കച്ചവടമായി വരുന്നതേ ഉള്ളൂ.
Projects focusing on the urban poor, like the National Urban Livelihood Mission, are implemented in Kerala through Kudumbashree.
ESTP എന്ന് പറയുന്ന പദ്ധതിയെക്കുറിച്ച് പറയുമ്പോൾ സമ്പൂർണ്ണമായി സൗജന്യമായ പരിശീലനം, തൊഴിൽ പരിശീലനം നൽകി അവരെ വിവിധ സ്ഥാപനങ്ങളിലേക്ക് ജോലിക്ക് നിയോഗിക്കുന്ന, പ്ലേസ്മെൻറ്റ് നൽകുന്ന ഒരു പദ്ധതിയാണ്. അപ്പോൾ പദ്ധതിയുടെ ഭാഗമായിട്ട് 18-നും 35-നും ഇടയിൽ പ്രായമുള്ള യുവതി യുവാക്കളെ കണ്ടെത്തി അവർക്ക് ആവശ്യമായിട്ടുള്ള അവരുടെ ഇഷ്ടപ്രകാരമുള്ള കോഴ്സുകൾ ആദ്യം വിലയിരുത്തി ആ കോഴ്സുകൾക്കനുസരിച്ചുള്ള സ്ഥാപനങ്ങളെ എംപാനൽ ചെയ്ത് ആ സ്ഥാപനങ്ങളിൽ ഇവർക്ക് ആവശ്യമായിട്ടുള്ള സൗജന്യ തൊഴിൽ പരിശീലനം നൽകുക എന്നുള്ളതാണ് ഈ പദ്ധതിയുടെ കാതലായ ഭാഗം. ഈ പദ്ധതി കൊണ്ട് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത് എംപ്ലോയബിലിറ്റി വർദ്ധിപ്പിക്കുക എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. കുട്ടികളുടെ താല്പര്യം, അവരുടെ അഭിരുചി, ഇവർ എത്രത്തോളം താല്പര്യത്തോടെ ഈ കോഴ്സ് പഠിക്കുന്നു എന്നുള്ളതിനെ ആശ്രയിച്ചും അവർക്ക് ലഭിക്കുന്ന പ്ലേസ്മെൻ്റൊക്കെ അനുസരിച്ചായിരിക്കും അവർക്ക് ലഭിക്കുന്ന പ്രയോജനത്തിൻ്റെ ഒരു പൂർണ്ണമായ രൂപം നമുക്ക് അവതരിപ്പിക്കാൻ സാധിക്കും. ഇലക്ട്രീഷ്യൻ ഡൊമസ്റ്റിക് എന്ന് പറയുന്ന കോഴ്സിൽ 100% നമ്മൾ പെൺകുട്ടികളെ എടുക്കില്ല എന്നൊരു ഇത് വെച്ചിട്ടില്ല. പക്ഷേ വരുന്ന 100% ആൺകുട്ടികളാണ്. ഓട്ടോമോട്ടീവ് സർവീസ് ടെക്നീഷ്യനിൽ വളരെ കുറച്ചാണ് പെൺകുട്ടികൾ വരാറുള്ളത്, പക്ഷേ അതിലേക്കും വരാറുണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ കോഴ്സിനനുസരിച്ച് അങ്ങനെ വ്യത്യാസം വരാറുണ്ട്. ജനറലി ഇപ്പോൾ 2 പേർക്കും പങ്കെടുക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്ന കോഴ്സുകളാണെങ്കിൽ മോസ്റ്റ് പ്രോബബ്ലി ഒരു 50-50 ഒക്കെ തന്നെയാണ്.
Conscious attempts are needed to precariously manage and consume natural resources. The policymakers in both states are evidently making efforts to understand the cumulative effect of policies concerning trade, investment, agriculture, and energy on resource governance. In 2015, Chennai suffered its worst inundation in a century. 4 years later, it was a shortage of water that made headlines. For a long time, Chennai has been a case study of what can go wrong when a booming metropolis paves over its floodplain to satisfy the demands of development. A large number of water bodies in the region had disappeared. Also, Chennai, despite its pioneering water policy, has been struggling with supplying its most basic needs.
What a surprising question is that water body in Chennai, really, where's the, other than Kuam and maybe Adayar River, nobody realizes that there are thousands of water bodies in and around Chennai, even today, even with all the destruction, all the encroachment. So I think Chennai has achieved something really remarkable in that sense. 4-5 years ago, we started taking up ponds and lakes and temple tanks. Not only 210 water body etc., but one of the big achievement, 2 big achievements that's going on as we speak. One is the Villivakkam tank in the North Chennai. So it used to be a sewage dump basically, right? It was just a bunch of sewage from the neighborhood come there and may get processed and so on. Today it's a beautiful lake where birds are coming and landing in the water, and soon it will be a nice public space. Its work is almost done. Similarly, about 6 kilometers of the Mambalam Canal. Today if you go to Mambalam Canal, it will just basically sewage running through the thing. It's supposed to be a rainwater canal, right? And that is getting completely restored to the where there will be no sewage coming in. We are blocking all the sewage, taking it for processing, and there will be cycle track and walking trails and playgrounds along the 6 kilometers. Not only that, there has been lakhs of wells put inside the city, rainwater harvesting wells. Temple Tank also had rainwater harvesting wells where the nearby roof water all comes into the Temple Tank. Various government offices, etc. have done that. In T Nagar, when we restored roads, we made the roads better. Public and some experts told us put wells wherever the water logging is happening. We were going to put little bores, but they said put a proper well. That has not only solved the waterlogging problem, but also it's also taken the water underground. And I don't know the exact numbers, but from what my friends have calculated, the groundwater level for this reason and other reasons, obviously not just because of this thing, but this has contributed. The water restoration has contributed to immensely to the increase in the groundwater levels.
Kochi has a predominance of water bodies consisting of canals and backwaters and wetlands. The lack of effective treatment plants in the industries and the pollution of river Peria has always been a subject of controversy. The majority of the canals have deteriorated as mere drainage channels, and their total area has reduced due to encroachment or siltation.
IUWRTS, which is being funded by KIFB and implemented by KMRL, we are trying to develop our 6 canals so that the canals will be free of sewage. The canals will be properly desilted. We were actually planning to have even boating inside that, but it's not easy here in these all canals. But we are trying to do these things, and even the water metro is also going to help it. We have selected the first one, which is Market Canal. We are going to implement. We are starting to implement one this, then Edapalli Canal. After that, we will scale up to other canals.
Sewage, which inevitably goes into the water bodies without proper treatment, is a major source of pollution in these cities. The decentralized waste management system is actively discussed with attempts to implement it for a long time, but has not yet been carried out successfully.
When it is on Brahmapuram, what we are doing is we are going to have the biomining done. We are going to clear the entire place. We have got 110 acres. On 10 acres, a waste to manure plant is going to come, which was earlier there, but it got disrupted. Outside there is an energy plant coming, but our major thrust will be on decentralization. And we have gone for a program HEAL, Health, Environment, Agriculture, Livelihood, so that the waste that is created is reduced. If it is there, it will be converted into manure, it will be used for agriculture. This is how it is going to happen. See, we have to supplement plastic. There has to be a lot of work that is to be done. Once you have HEAL properly implemented in all the houses, then there is no question of plastic coming to the roads.
Experts say that increasing the number of flyovers and constant road widening won't be needed if public transport is strategically given importance and promoted. In a densely populated state like Kerala, the unintended consequences of huge infrastructure projects and exponentially increasing private vehicles are often neglected.
Smart City Initiative, our metro, how the metro has helped to connect with all the transport initiatives. We have the metro, we have the railways, we have the footpaths. We're trying to create a footpath system wherein people don't get disrupted when they walk. We are trying to put up cycle tracks. So all these things taken together, it is a kind of an intermodal transit system that we have developed. We got awarded. We have the Kerala Kochi Municipal Transport Authority, KMTA. It's the only one in Asia, maybe after Singapore. So these initiatives actually is trying to have a proper say on the carbon footprint, to bring out a transport strategy which caters to all these things. The e-auto rickshaws, the electrical auto rickshaws, we are trying to put in. 100 auto rickshaws are coming.
In KMRL, we have been very conscious that we will not do harm to Kochi. We are actually introduced the cycles, and our goal is to actually have 10,000 cycles. Actually this year we will have to operate cycles, encourage people, students, to teachers, to executives, to IT professionals, to chaiwala. Everybody should actually use a cycle so that our future is good. That is one of the things which we have done. Almost now we have reached 60% of our electricity requirement, we are getting it from solar, and we want to reach it 100%. Maybe in another 1 year or so, we will try to achieve that lofty objective. Thirdly, we are also actually introducing electric buses in some actually first mile and last mile connectivity and some other routes in Cochin city. We are in the process of actually procuring 400 electric auto rickshaws, which will be also plying in the city of Cochin. Though 400 is less, but it is a beginning. Now we will be going for the electric boats, which are called the water metro. That will be non-polluting. It is one of the state-of-art boats. All over the world is watching about the performance of this boat. The first boat has been delivered. We are going to get the 23 boats during this year, and we will operate around this year around 16 to 20 terminals. So it will be crisscrossing and connecting 10 islands to the main city of Cochin. So, but in the future, probably now we have been asked to do experimentation on hydrogen, and we have been also allotted funds for that. So we are now actually toying up idea of procuring an hydrogen powered bus, which will be also here. So, and some plan is there to have hydrogen powered boats.
The purpose of the Smart Cities Mission, the central government sponsored scheme, is to drive economic growth and improve the quality of life by enabling the local area development and harnessing technology, which leads to smart outcomes. The mission is supposed to create cities that are self-sustainable, self-reliable, and inclusive.
In Chennai's case, we are somewhat somewhere in the middle. We are not in an ideal situation, we are not in a terrible situation. So that network of people, experts, NGOs, etc. Built over the last 10-15 years was able to make a difference when suddenly, whether it's smart city money or some other money comes and says, hey, do a bunch of projects. It's not like randomly doing some projects. That's what made Chennai slightly unique. We could do far more and far better, but I think we've done in a limited Indian conditions, I think we've done pretty well. See, more importantly, because of all this, city partnership and all those gigantic, huge investments are coming to Chennai.
We have many projects like ICCC, Integrated Command and Control Center. It is supposed to be a project where ultimately we are focusing on women inclusivity, safety for women. Those are our prime concerns. So just to give an example, as part of ICCC, we will be having smart bus stops where SOS button will be there. Then in the buses flying around in the city area, we will be having that GPS tracker. The feeds will go to various places, including the police control room also. So why this is important? Because when we devise project, we need to see these projects enhance the safety of women. This project give them the inclusivity, the necessary width to come out in the public space and work. As part of Smart City Trivandrum, we have other projects where we have renovated some public toilets also.
Even though there was a lot of hoopla about smart cities when the projects came up, how gender inclusive could they be? Many labour and gender activists have expressed opposition to various smart cities mission projects. The Chennai Smart City Mission's much celebrated project, T Nagar Plaza, is one such venture.
A city of 10 million people, if it can fix not only 210 water bodies, if it can create a very popular plaza which was thought undoable, is one of the most popular places in the country. Everybody now wants a plaza in front of them, right? Where children are able to just play like it's a playground on the side of the road, right? Unthinkable in an Indian condition, where people used to say, you have no space for car, how can you ask space for walking? That was, I remember 15 years ago, people used to say, nobody's walking on the side of the footpath, why are you wasting time building footpath? From there, we have come to delivering a fancy world-class plaza.
And there was a lot of talk about how it is going to be made into a vehicle-free zone, and there will only be battery-operated vehicles. The street vendors in that stretch had all been removed and put into one complex, a multi-story complex in which only 2 floors were occupied. The rest of them nobody wanted. A taxpayer-funded space clearance for the shops to have more footfall. That's what has happened.
Majority of the street vendors in this area are women. When they are shifted to places of very little pedestrian traffic, their business is affected. This in turn becomes neither inclusive of women nor the working class.
But these smart projects are basically using available technology on a very single data linear processes. In the sense, they look at one set of data for one set of work, they bring in some sensors, technology and other things to apps or something to just deliver that. So it's not like you take different kinds of data and try to negotiate a space. That's not what is happening. Yeah, so what they do is a very crude use of technology to solve one specific problem at the cost of a whole bunch of other issues. It doesn't speak to anything about pedestrian space, it doesn't speak to anything about pollution, it doesn't speak anything to the concretization of the space. It solves the one problem, is parking. So I'm going to find where you have a parking slot. That's all that it does. So if it is smart, if you call that smart, yes, it is smart, but it's smart in solving one problem that a commuter has, but it is no way smart when it comes to city planning, urban planning, and it is no way close to doing it inclusively.
The Smart Cities mission, working on a PPP model, was meant to corporatize the process of setting up a smart city and cut through the political clutter. But the criticism on this is that they ended up bypassing the democratic process.
Translating ideas into action is not easy in India. Very difficult. Everybody is waiting for permission from everybody. So it's a very deadlocked system where getting anything done is very difficult. And at every level of government, people are changing all the time. Our cities have never had an opportunity, a realistic opportunity, to start asking big questions and answer big questions, because there are too many departments, too much centralization. Sometimes you depend on Indian government, sometimes you depend on state government, and very little power for the cities. You can't keep debating the height of the footpath forever, because you're still stuck in the height of the footpath. You're not able to come to the level of metro rail and densification and TOD, and these are all fancy concepts people talk in seminars. Other cities have converted it. Unless we drastically decentralize and actually implement the 74th Amendment in letter and spirit, only those kinds of decentralization will make Indian cities a better place. No schemes, etc. are all stopgap measures.
My place where I live today should be clean, hygienic, clean water, clean air. ഇതെല്ലാം എൻ്റെ റൈറ്റ്സും കൂടിയാണ്. ഇത് ആർക്ക് എൻഷുർ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും? എനിക്ക് ഡൽഹി പോയിട്ട് എൻഷുർ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റത്തില്ല. You are creating so many organizations, parallel organizations in a city. എക്സാമ്പിൾ ഇപ്പോൾ കൊച്ചി എടുത്തിട്ട് പറയാം, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ കേരളത്തിൽ എടുത്തിട്ട് 3 സിറ്റി എടുത്തിട്ട് പറയാം. കൊച്ചിയിലാണെങ്കിൽ GCD ഉണ്ട്, കൊച്ചിയിലാണെങ്കിൽ ജിഡ ഉണ്ട്, കൊച്ചിയിലാണെങ്കിൽ കൊച്ചി മുനിസിപ്പൽ കോർപ്പറേഷൻ ഉണ്ട്, കൊച്ചിയിലാണെങ്കിൽ കൊച്ചി ഇപ്പോൾ മെട്രോ റെയിലുണ്ട്, കൊച്ചിയുടെ കൊച്ചി സ്മാർട്ട് സിറ്റി ഉണ്ട്, കൊച്ചി വാട്ടർ മെട്രോ വരാൻ പോകണം ഇപ്പോൾ. ആൻഡ് ദെൻ യു ഹാവ് ഡിസ്ട്രിക്ട് അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേഷൻ. ആകെ 6 ലക്ഷമുള്ള ആൾക്കാരിലാണ് ഈ നമ്മൾ 67 സംഘടന ഉണ്ടാക്കി വെച്ചത്. ഇവർക്ക് ഒന്നും നമ്മുടെ സിറ്റീസ് സഫർ ചെയ്യണം എവിടെയെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ വി ഡോണ്ട് ഹാവ് ദ ഡേറ്റ. ഫണ്ടമെൻ്റൽ ഇഷ്യൂ എന്താണെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ സിറ്റീസ് ആർ നോട്ട് പവർഫുൾ ഇൻ ഇന്ത്യ. ഒരുപാട് കാര്യങ്ങളൊക്കെ ചെയ്യാൻ ശ്രമിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്, കുറേ കാര്യങ്ങൾ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്, ഞാൻ ഇല്ലാന്നൊന്നും പറയുന്നില്ല. പക്ഷെ അതിൻ്റെ പൂർണ്ണതയിലെത്തണമെങ്കിൽ കോപ്പറേഷൻ റിസോഴ്സ് വേണം, കോപ്പറേഷൻ കപ്പാസിറ്റി വേണം. ഇതില്ലാത്തതുകൊണ്ടാണ് നിങ്ങൾ സ്മാർട്ട് സിറ്റി ഉണ്ടാക്കുന്നതാണ് ഇവരുടെ ജസ്റ്റിഫിക്കേഷൻ. ഇപ്പോൾ നാഷണൽ ലെവലിൽ നിങ്ങളുടെ കോപ്പറേഷനും കപ്പാസിറ്റി. പക്ഷെ ഐഡിയലി ഇത് വെരി ഐഡിയൽ സിറ്റുവേഷൻ ആണെന്നാണ്. ഐഡിയലി ആ സ്മാർട്ട് സിറ്റി മേയറുടെ കീഴിൽ ഉണ്ടാക്കിയിരുന്നെങ്കിൽ എല്ലാ മുനിസിപ്പൽ, കേരളത്തിൽ മാത്രമല്ല ഇന്ത്യയിൽ മുഴുവനും, ആ സിസ്റ്റം ഒരു 50% പോയാലും ബാക്കി 50% റിമെയിൻ ചെയ്യണം.
For a long time, we have exhausted the resource potential of cities as if there is no tomorrow. Additionally, large sections of the urban population have not been beneficiaries of the development processes. Now, our cities demand sustainable development rather than smart development for a balanced future.